Deace. Steve is the host of the Steve Deace Show on Salem Radio Network. And Steve, let's talk about this crucial voting bloc of social conservatives. And when we play a moment like that of Donald Trump talking about whether or not he's ever gone to God for forgiveness, and then he explains about his moments in church and having the wine and the cracker, that really doesn't look like a guy that goes to church a lot or has much of a spiritual relationship with God. So how does that impact this crowd specifically?
Well, Thomas, you played that clip. I was backstage 20 feet from Donald Trump when he made those comments. I co-emceed that event. And that was really the moment that I realized that no matter how angry I am at the Republican Party establishment, I just can't justify voting for someone whose life is really a repudiation of everything that I claim to believe. And I think one of the underreported stories of Trump's candidacy is that it has caused an incredible amount of division, Thomas, within the evangelical world. And I just point to 3 states. You look at 2 states Trump's going to lose for sure: Colorado and Virginia. Colorado is where Focus on the Family is located. Virginia is where Patrick Henry College and Liberty University, 2 of the leading evangelical institutions in the country. Trump's going to lose both of those states. Those are the 2 states where the Free the Delegates movement began, and most of them were evangelicals. And then you look at another state, North Carolina. That's where the Billy Graham Evangelistic Association is located, Thomas, and Trump is struggling to hold on to that reliably red state. So, yes, when you go to Alabama and Texas and reliably red Bible Belt states, Trump is doing very well there. But when you get outside of those regions into more urban areas amongst the evangelical population in those states, there's a lot of division. I mean, Thomas, right now, he's got to defend Georgia, another state with a high evangelical population. So there's a lot of division. He's going to get a high percentage, Thomas, just like Hillary will get a high percentage of racial minorities, no matter what she says. But the question isn't the percentage, it's the turnout. It's not the slice of the pie, it's the size of the pie. That's the issue. How many people is that percentage?
Well, and Steve, when I made that reference about what it looks like, what I mean is the evangelical voters who are coming to summits like we're seeing today, values voters, they are used to language of their politicians in a different way and a presentation of a different matter. And what attracts them as a voting bloc, especially as we look at them through the lens of this presidential cycle, do you think that the religious aspect has taken a back seat for faith-based voters in a candidate like Donald Trump?
I don't think there's any question that it has. And this is the argument we're having in the evangelical community right now, which is, how much are we allowed to compromise or sell out what we believe because of what we're opposed to? And if you think Hillary Clinton is so bad that it can be okay to vote for someone who says Planned Parenthood does great things, who stood up at the Republican convention and said, by golly, I'm glad to hear you guys really aren't for killing gays after all, and all the other ways he has patronized us and insulted us, then your mind cannot be changed. If you think it doesn't really matter what Hillary Clinton stands for, I'm never going to vote for her, this guy's a bridge too far, he's a violation of my conscience, your opinion's not going to be changed either, and that's why there's so much division within the evangelical world over his candidacy.
And when it comes to Mike Pence being on the ticket, many folks look at that as a nod of respect to the evangelical community. Some critics would say that Mike Pence may have sold his soul to be a part of this ticket for the contrast and conflict that it presents for his record. But does he help build up Trump's image with social conservatives?
I think that Donald Trump could have put Judas Iscariot on the ticket and was probably going to get all the same votes he was going to get and not get all the same votes he wasn't going to get. The problem Mike Pence has, and he did sell out to join this ticket. I mean, for goodness sakes, Thomas, he's on television yesterday espousing the virtues of Vladimir Putin, okay? And the reason he had to take this gig is it was his only shot at a national ticket after the way he completely sold out social conservatives on the Religious Freedom Restoration Act in his own state last year. And it wasn't that he just sold them out, it's that he abandoned them and that he actually authored a fix that many leading conservative groups say could be used to target religious liberty instead of protect it. So no, Mike Pence doesn't add any cachet whatsoever.
Conservative radio host Steve Deace. Steve, great to see you, sir. Thank you for your time. And again,